Righto, time to go. It's not flash, we pushed on too far and now the pub's shut. It's 10 past 10. I reckon you're a bigger bogan. We did have one mirror when we left. It's about at this point you really question your life choices. I'm doing this for fun, so how bad can things be? Righto.
This one's definitely going to catch on fire.
Hey guys, so it's been about a week since I've been able to do any work on Lance. We're back in the shed today. I've tidied up a heap of the wiring under the bonnet, and when I say tidy up, I'm confident it's not going to catch on fire now. The wiring had been butchered quite badly, so I've fixed a few of the key wires properly, some earths, the wire going to the glow plugs. Obviously that circuit's nice and solid now. Which including fixing the little indicator in the dash. So in previous episodes I wasn't sure whether it was a resistor. I did say I could get a new one. In between that episode and now I actually repaired it. I melted a piece of HDP plastic to the back of it and then drilled holes through the center of it, because you need to isolate those terminal lugs from the actual housing itself, and I wasn't sure how that was done because there was a piece of isolating material on the back of it that had been it had rotted away. It wasn't there when I pulled it out. So did a bit more digging. I did find a guy that had some. They're $220 each. I fixed it and it works really well. So I'm going to run that. Like I said, I enjoy the actual, fixing something. It gives you a good feeling that you repaired something rather than just replaced it sometimes. So we're going to run that. That came up nice. So we put all that dash under there back together. The fuses, all the little fuses are actually intact. None are blown. I do plan on replacing all that with blade fuses. Same with all the wiring under the bonnet. That's not how it's going to stay, obviously, but there is no bare wires there anymore. There's no possible shorts, possible fires, anything like that. So at least now I should be able to jump in it, drive it, and have the battery connected without fear of a bad short or a fire. So we're going to move it out into the center of the shed and then probably out onto the driveway today. Give it at least an engine oil service. I've got an intake pipe for it, an air cleaner. Now I know it's running and it sounds reasonably healthy. I just want to give it a chance and just do a few basic things. I've got a heater tap to put in it. Might as well do that, and I'll flush the radiator out while I'm going. I'm not going to put coolant in it yet. We just need to keep flushing it out. The water in there is quite rusty, so down the track further I may have to get that radiator flow tested to make sure it's not going to overheat on me. Because the next big thing we'll be trying to see what gauges work in the dash, i.e. temperature, oil pressure. That's a long way down the road. The wiring side I'm really going to put off until I absolutely have to do it, because it is going to be fiddly and a tedious job, and there's just lots of time. So if I've got 5 minutes in the shed when I walk past, I can sort something out, I will. I did ascertain that the circuit for the horn works. It doesn't sound like a big thing, but little things like that are a win because you need that for a roadworthy. We'll do the rocker cover gasket first because it is hemorrhaging oil pretty badly when it's running. And I have noticed it's actually got a diesel leak now too, so that doesn't really bother me. That I am going to pull the tank out in due course. Yeah, it's time to really give Lance a birthday, and it'll probably be a 4-month long one. So we've got a big table full of parts. We've got swivel hub bearings, steering dampener, and bushers, which I think are wrong. So out of everything, I think that's the only parts that are wrong, which is all right. Some good old 1540, just the old school stuff. This isn't synthetic. It was kind of the cheapest I could get. Still new line oil, but look, it's not going to do many Ks for a long time, and I'll probably service it again, within a few thousand Ks. It's just to flush it out. Full service kit, obviously, filters. I think I'm missing one fuel filter because it's got the twin cartridge style on it, so I'll look into that. Seat belts, intake pipe, full bolt kit, heater tap, full shackles for front and rear, uni joints front and rear, mirrors, blinkers, and then around the other side here We have all the internal door parts, external door parts, seal kits for the doors, the steering column shroud, brake lines, U-bolts. I've got door cards coming. I've bought some plastic ABS style door cards off eBay. Look, it's not, you know, an original part or anything, but I think they're a great idea because it doesn't matter if they get wet or anything. They're just plastic. They look pretty neat. Look, this isn't going to be 100% original build. This is going to be my take on a rat rod style HJ47. We don't want a petrol motor, that's for sure. So anyway, we'll get into that. We're going to put the rocker cover gasket on it first. Like I said, it's hemorrhaging oil pretty bad. We'll do a full service on it. I'm going to replace that heater tap because those heater hoses have to come off over the top anyway. So this is just me not being a mechanic. So we got a new heater tap and I'm really glad I did that. So just standing here trying to figure out how a radiator flows. I mean, that seems probably simple to some people, but so once I get this rocker cover gasket done, I'm going to give it a good run. And then we will flush out, while it's hot and running, we'll flush out the radiator just with water. But I need to know which way it flows, obviously, and I think I figured it out. Like I said, it's going to be a big learning curve. I've never actually done it. I read and I'm right into cars and a bit of mechanical knowledge, and I'm really interested and enjoy it, but I've never actually done that much hands-on stuff. So yeah, we're learning as we go. So we'll get this rocker cover off now and replace that gasket. Hopefully that runs smoothly. I can already see some seals through the top bolts that I probably should have got. They're not leaking, but once I move them, they probably will. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Well, the oil's a little bit claggy and goopy, to be expected in a 41-year-old vehicle, and the last few years of its life, the service history has probably been pretty bad. But it actually looks better than I thought. Comment below. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic. I don't think that looks too bad. Even inside the rocker cover, there's a little bit of crap there. But yeah, look, it's really, I think I was expecting worse, to be honest. So that's a positive step. Also, I love it when you think something isn't right, and I didn't even notice this. So that's definitely why the rocker cover gasket is leaking. There's a bit missing. So I'm in two minds whether to bother even cleaning the inside of that. We end up washing the inside of the rocker cover out. It's not spotless, but all the big chunks are gone, and then we're going to run this oil, the existing oil, through the motor, dump it straight away, put fresh oil in it. So yeah, it's hard without a parts washer. You can't go using heaps and heaps of unleaded. I really need to get a parts washer before this project really gets moving. But there's no big chunks in there. It's a little bit, you know, gunky in spots. But yeah, no, generally speaking, I think she's looking good to be a healthy motor, and hopefully leak a little less oil now. So we'll get this rocker cover back on, put an air filter in it, put the crossover pipe on and the heater tap. Then we'll start up and take it for a spin around the backyard to get it warm. Yeehaw. Righto, rocker cover's back on, heater tap's back in, all the hoses are hooked back up. The rust in the line of the heater taps was pretty bad, so hopefully I can flush that out. We'll look at doing a water pump down the track. But it is pumping water, we know that, because the radiator was getting warm. So we've got a brand spanking new air filter and a crossover pipe, which it's never had, or not since the time I've owned it. So this is like a big moment. So we'll get the clamps for him, we'll pop him on, and time to fire him up. Simple things, those clamps are around the wrong way. You would think they'd be the same size, but they're not. One more. Right. Oh yeah, nearly up to the elbow. This is where a hoist would be really handy. Yeah, you can't have everything, eh? Yeah, the oil looks good. Like it's black, but diesel oil is anyway, so promising, very promising. It's just the little things you notice about a really old engine like this. The oil filter is ginormous. Like, they really did think about these things lasting for a long time, and they have proven to do that. Well, this thing's 41 years old. You imagine how it's been looked after. There's cars that are 10-year-old that don't run that well, so it's got a lot to do with how the oil's filtered. You got twin fuel filters. Even like it's got twin horns just in case one dies, you know, like there's so many funny little things like that. Anyway, we'll get this filter back on, fill her up with oil, and then we might just do a few little bits and bobs this afternoon. I've got a few bonnet rubbers and anything else I can find that's pretty easy because it's Friday afternoon. I think it's time we have a tin. I definitely wouldn't recommend holding your battery in with a zip tie. I'm just going to duck around the backyard, get that oil through everything, give it another run. Now she's got fresh oil, flush the system out. The more I can run it, the better, really. I'd rather break down in the backyard than out on the road somewhere one day. Righto guys, so it is 2 days later. I can't hide that. You know, family and life gets in the way of these things sometimes and they have to come first. But just to wrap up, those few little drives we did around the backyard, I did notice it was blowing a bit of smoke. I mean, it's 41-year-old, whatever. So we had a run in the shed, a couple of mates come around for a beer. As it happens, they're like, oh, have you checked for blow-by yet? And I'm like, you know what, I haven't. So we took the cap off, and I'll put a little clip in here right now. So comment below if you've got anything to add to that. Is it common for an older diesel like that to have that much blow by? Is it completely stuffed? You know, just give me your opinion, guys, because like I said, I'm not a mechanic. I think it is healthy enough for the time being anyway. I mean, I'm not going to go across Australia in it anytime soon. So we're going to keep pushing along. I have sourced a couple of parts I really needed. The seat rail, the crossover pipe for the blower fan, and the handbrake and handbrake cable. Not that Toyotas aren't meant to have handbrakes, are they? But this one will, and it's a drum brake off the back of the transfer, so it probably will work better than the 79 series does. Anyway, guys, we're going to have to wrap it up there. Next time, I'm really going to continue with the original plan. We'll probably get the tray pulled off. We'll get a few mates around, pull the tray off, pull that rear housing out, and start digging into the real mechanical side of it. Bushes, bearings, clean that chassis up and paint it. And while I'm back there, I'll probably be able to rip the tank out because it's just at the back of the cab, underneath the cab. So having that tray off will give me a bit more access for things. Anyway, guys, I'm really enjoying this. I hope you guys are too. I'm really excited to see Lance come together. And don't forget, you only live once. Get out there and enjoy it. See you next time.